Okay. Hi, everybody. It's so exciting to be back. Welcome to today's webinar, which is in our COM framework. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Abigail Schondorf. You can call me AV, and I am the founder of AVHD. We are a podcast and a platform that's designed to support fast-thinking and deep-feeling entrepreneurs, especially those who are neurodivergent, who identify as being neurodivergent. That might be ADHD, autistic, dyslexic, or any other neurodivergency, OCD. And I'm really happy to be with you today because we're going to talk about hustle and why that's a little bit bullshit. I warn you, we cuss on here, so if there's little ears in the room, then put on headphones or something. I'm not really sure, but welcome. Grab a snack, grab a drink. I totally forgot. I ran in here, obviously, as you can tell, 10 minutes late. Hey, listen, it happens. Normally I'm on time, but I not today. So today we are talking about moving basically from hustle to harmony. And that's something that we all struggle with, definitely in today's day and age, is focus. There's so much stuff happening all the time. There's so many things that are going on, excuse me, in our day-to-day life, whether you identify as being neurodivergent or not. Our days are busy. We are constantly surrounded by information and like stuff that we need to intake and process. We are constantly on the go. We are constantly available. We're constantly also able to perceive ourselves. There's just a lot of information input that our brain isn't really adapted to yet, honestly. And that means that we struggle with a bunch of things. And one of those things is focus. And I'm not talking about the type of focus that you like force in a productivity schedule with timers and like shaming yourself, but the kind of focus that flows from a system that was designed for your brain and for yourself. When I talk about designing something for your brain or for your nervous system, I'm talking about designing something for yourself that works for you. So by the end of today, the goal is that you will know how to take the noise in your head and organize it into a simple structure that you can trust. So let's get started. And yeah, good luck to us. I think it's going to be great. So first, let's talk about the cost. What is the cost of hustle? Because we are right now in the peak of hustle culture, in which everybody has a hustle or a grind or a side hustle or multiple side hustles. And we're told that if we just push through and we grind harder and we do more, then like that's how you are successful in hustle culture. But it doesn't really work, right? And I think hustle culture is also falling apart as the lie that it is, that if you just push through and through and through and through, that you'll be fine. And we were seeing that sort of in our COVID years, and it's all collapsing now because those types of things and that type of hustle isn't sustainable forever. It's good to kickstart something, just kind of like how you might go on a diet to kickstart a new lifestyle, but the lifestyle is what is sustainable. The diet is just the kickstart. So too, the hustle is the kickstart, but the lifestyle needs to be sustainable. Especially for neurodivergent entrepreneurs, this approach isn't just unsustainable, it's damaging. Our nervous systems are on super high alert all the time. And again, we talked about information and sensory input and overload. The reason that that's particularly challenging for people who are neurodivergent is that we process more information. We're literally intaking more information than the neurotypical brain is. And when there's so much information to intake and we're on high alert, that means that stress hits harder, which means that decision fatigue kicks in faster. Decision fatigue meaning like I can't even make any choices anymore. I don't care, right? And then burnout shows up sooner. It's inevitable. The people who you know, think about the people who you know who started a business purely on hustle and grind. How long did it take them to burn out from that type of hustle? For I don't have a really good example for myself. Actually, yeah, I do. That's such a lie. I told my team this example this morning because I was thinking of an entrepreneurial example of hustle. And I don't really have that because I never intended to be an entrepreneur in the first place. I kind of just fell into it. And I don't know how many people fall into entrepreneurship as opposed to choosing it, but it chose me. I didn't choose it. Um, but when I first started at a nonprofit organization that I was working at, one of the goals was to bring in as much money as possible. Obviously, I was running the fundraising and development department, and we needed to bring in as much money as humanly possible, as quickly as possible. And I had learned at that point in my life that I was a very talented person and that I could do everything myself. And that if I was tired, then all I needed to do was drink some more coffee and work harder and I'd be fine. And I ended up successfully raising some $50,000 from micro donors in a 48-hour period, literally by myself. And although we had volunteers who were making phone calls and there was a structure surrounding it and so on and so forth, it was literally by myself. I printed out every single donor page. I did every single bit of research. I called every single volunteer. I did everything. And ultimately, the feedback that I got was, well done. You did a really good job raising this money, but you need to trust more. Like, you need to do more collaborating and more communicating. And that was really the beginning of my shift into a more collaborative way of thinking. Because up until that point, I thought that it was my job when I had a team to take everything on myself and delegate kind of the bare minimum to keep things going. But not only is that a lie, and of course is unsustainable, ultimately it's also disrespectful of the people that are around you. You are surrounded by talented people who have the capacity to do a lot of things, but you've already now told yourself that all you have to do is try harder, and then you can accomplish anything. That's a disservice to you. It's a disservice to people around you. It's like a little egotistical, right? You're not the best, even if you are the best. There's always somebody who's going to be better than you. And that's good. That's the way it's supposed to be. We should always have something to strive for, and we should always have something to learn from. But hustle culture keeps us alone. It keeps us trapped. It keeps us locked into the thing that you can do. Harmony requires connection with other people. So let's learn a little bit about our nervous system and what dysregulation looks like in your nervous system. So my father's a neurologist, and he'd probably be really annoyed that I'm like presenting it this way, because we're talking about calm. Yeah. We're not necessarily talking about like any sort of neurological disorder. It's just how your regular self works, how your regular brain works. And you as a human being are controlled, like your operating system is your nervous system. That is how you are controlled. So let's talk a little bit about neuroscience and dysregulation. Your nervous system, like I said, it's your internal dashboard. It's so when your internal dashboard is regulated and everything is working the way it's supposed to, you feel focused, you feel calm, you feel grounded, you have the ability to plan. The opposite of that, when your internal dashboard is not regulated, you're reactive and scattered. You're not moving from a place of power. You're moving from a place of reactivity. So you're more likely to shut down and just miscalculate because you're not really thinking clearly, right? So your nervous system has basically, this is simplified. Yeah. Your nervous system has basically two parts. You have the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is fight or flight. It's active. It is go. It is we are on. It is Your parasympathetic nervous system is your rest system. It allows you, and your digestive system, it allows things to process and to move through the way they need to. If you are constantly in one or the other, you're in bad shape. You need to be utilizing your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. And if one is overloaded, then the other one is going to be decreased by definition to compensate for the overload in the other. Okay. So that's why if you're super stressed, you might have gut issues because you're in fight or flight mode. Your parasympathetic nervous system isn't working well to run your digestive system. So you're going to have gut and motility issues. It's just because one has too much, the other one doesn't have enough, right? That's called essentially your window of tolerance. Your window of tolerance is your optimal state. And there's a window of tolerance for a lot of things. There's an emotional window of tolerance, and your nervous system also has a window of tolerance, which is your optimal state for productivity, for planning. This is when you're good. Within here, I'm good. If I'm too high or I'm too low, I'm dysregulated. Human beings strive for homeostasis. They strive for balance. They strive for regulation. You want to be good all the time, not overly chill and not overly active. And there's a lot of things that can catapult you into using your sympathetic nervous system, like going into that active mode. Sometimes you need to be in that mode, and sometimes something triggers you or activates you into that mode, and you don't necessarily want to be there, right? Because we need the balance all the time. So how do I bring myself down? Well, there's things that we can do. A really simple one is box breathing. Box breathing is the best. I have a poster here somewhere. Give me a second. Here you go. Box breathing. So box breathing is the best. Literally what you do is you inhale for 4, you hold for 4, you exhale for 4, and you hold for 4. It's a nice hard inhale and it's a nice hard exhale, and the hold is really important. So we're going to do it together. Ready? One more, just for fun. I don't know how you feel. Tell me how you feel. I feel calm. I feel good. Not too chill and not too awake, because we're inhaling positivity. We're exhaling bullshit. You inhale good, you exhale bad, and we're holding in between to bring in that regulation piece. You are in control of this pattern. That's what you just told your brain. I can do this. And now you've cued your whole system that you're fine. And if 3 breaths isn't enough, do 10. And if 10 isn't enough, do 50. It will be enough at a certain point. I promise. So now that we know our nervous system a little bit, and again, that is way oversimplified and it's just one little piece of your nervous system, let's talk about calm. Calm at ABHD and subsequently at Allisto for us means clarity, awareness, limits, momentum. That is the calm framework. That is how you achieve calm. Calm stands for clarity, awareness, limits, momentum. They're also the pillars of a nervous system informed business plan and the way you run and work your business. So clarity is I know. I know. Okay. I saw a fantastic TikTok today, um, where somebody was just talking about like the state of the world. She was like, the president of the United States is doing personal renovations on the White House, and the Louvre was just robbed in broad daylight, and you have imposter syndrome? Like you're waking up during the day, doubting yourself in the morning? That's crazy. In our current times when everything is like, it seems like anything is possible. So like, okay, great, anything is possible. That applies to you too. So if you have something in your heart and in your spirit, something that was put upon you to do, I feel a little preachy right now, and you know, then do that. That is where you should be. That clarity is a blessing. Don't fight it. Awareness is then like, okay, cool. I'm clear. What else is going on? Because there's more information that we need to intake all the time. And then based on the information that I intake, what are the limitations? What are the limits that I need to put in place? Or what are the limitations that exist? And then once I understand the limits, now we can be moving. Now we have momentum. So let's talk a little bit more about each of those. Clarity, that idea of like, this is what I need to be doing. It's impossible to work on or work from when you are in chaos mode. Okay. So when your mind is racing and when everything is just like moving and moving and moving, then your business doesn't move because your brain is too loud. It's like when you're trying to do a group project, right? And it's that first like 3 minutes when everyone has ideas and everyone's trying to talk at once and no one has necessarily established themselves as a leader yet. And everyone's kind of clamoring. All the voices are like overlapping each other. When your brain is in chaos, that's exactly what it sounds like. And nothing happens in your group project until somebody's like, wait, everybody, hold on. We can't hear each other when everyone's talking at once. One of us really needs to take control here. Okay, here are the ideas that I'm hearing. And somebody steps up as a leader. And somebody steps up to take control of all of the overlapping voices and all of the chaos that's happening right now, because nothing can exist in chaos. And even if something is moving forward, I'm so fidgety today. I'm really annoying myself. Whew, let me recenter. Let me also choose a fidget. Let me pause for a second and regroup because I am bugging myself with how fidgety I am. So I can't even imagine how annoying it is to y'all. Fortunately, I have a massive drawer full of any kind of fidget you might desire. I'm going to hold the squishy world. Okay. Quieting the chaos. Nothing can happen until we take charge. That was another example of quieting the chaos in my sensory environment. Too many things were happening. Too much stuff was happening around me. I was feeling too fidgety. It was difficult for me to keep control of my thoughts. I paused for a second, identified what I needed, and got myself a squishy world. And now we're all good. We're back on track. In this phase, in the quieting the chaos phase, we are slowing down. So what did I just do right in front of y'all is I said, 1 second, let me pause. And to be frank, that could be a little bit embarrassing on a live, to say like, you know, I can't like control my, my sensory right now. I need to pause this whole thing in front of y'all in live, but whatever, who cares? And if any of you are judging me for that, you're probably in the wrong place. Or you need to unpack some things about yourself. Maybe you're not being as kind to yourself as you really, really could be. So think about that. In this phase, when we are quieting the chaos, we slow everything down. And the way that you can do that is literally by stopping everything. You can journal, you can practice mindfulness techniques, breathing techniques, you can do a sensory reset, high sensory reset. These are all tools that can help you see your goals clearly and choose your next step. So we have a couple of different tools for you, and a little track list that you can use whenever you want. But we have a few tools for you. The clarity reset is really, really cool. You can use it when you're overwhelmed or frozen, right? You can do a morning grounding at the start of your workday to kind of anchor you into a calm place and into focused energy. I made the mistake of not doing that today, and I showed up like all over the place because I showed up scattered. I didn't do any sort of grounding before this webinar, which is ironic and funny. But that's the whole point. Y'all get to learn from the things that I don't do so well. To keep yourself calm, then do something in the middle of the day, right? To boost your focus after lunch or when you're feeling a little bit down, right? To just spark some gentle momentum. You can do that with breathing. You can do that with movement. I started inputting my gym time at my most tired time of the day. 3 p.m. was just like the worst time ever. I was so tired by that point. So I started going to the gym at 3 p.m. Because my ADHD business coach, Sam, told me, like, what if 3 p.m. isn't the worst time of the day? What if you just made it not the worst time? So I started going, and I was like, what if this is a great time? What if this is the best time of the day to go to the gym? And now 3 p.m., I'm so excited. My body's like ready to move at 3 p.m., which is very, very cool. It's just something that then resets me for the whole rest of the day. And the second half of the day where I'm with my kids, they get a better version of me than if I hadn't moved my body. We also tend to struggle with transitions if you're a neurodivergent person. So having a transition ritual that you can use when shifting between tasks or between roles is really, really important. That way you can shift with intention. And that came up for me when I told my sister, like, I really struggle with transitions. And she said, but you already know that you struggle with transitions. So what if you told yourself, in the past, I've struggled with transitions. Now I'm going to do blah, 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 so that this isn't difficult. Or you can even tell yourself, this is a transition. I'm struggling with this. And then like keep it pushing. There's a lot of ways to really move through it. And then, of course, closing out your day. You want to wind down at the end of your day and calm your body down and your mind down for another day tomorrow. This kind of keeps your brain on track to keep you feeling safe and not only like moving constantly, not always just speeding forward, but also staying regulated and calm. And we don't want to allow stress to hijack our productivity. The regulation has to come before the productivity. So you can definitely use our instant calm system. It will kind of guide you through some meditations that reset you throughout the day. So enjoy those. Those are from me to you. And let me know if you use them and if you like them. The next step in our calm framework is awareness. Awareness is essentially your emotional compass. So you've already started on a path. Clarity is picking the path. I am going to here. Now I need a compass to make sure that I'm staying on the right path, right? I just watched Pocahontas with my kids. So I'm thinking of like all that beautiful compass imagery. When we are overwhelmed, we tend to be emotionally reactive. And emotionally reactive often means that we overreact, right? It's difficult to keep control of yourself, and to really stay in your best self when you're overwhelmed. So maybe you end up lashing out at people. Maybe you end up really not reacting in the way that you would want to. You're doing the best that you can in the situation with what you have at the time. But what if you were able to bring more to the situation. Then you would be able to control yourself better. So the way that we are able to do that is with awareness. You have to know what is happening to be able to bring awareness to the situation, to be able to bring the resources that you have that you need to apply in the situation. That was a lot. We're gonna break it down. Being emotionally reactive doesn't mean that you're broken. Okay, when you overreact, when you're okay, it means that your nervous system is talking to you and it's kind of talking for you because you weren't listening. Awareness of what is happening right now helps you decode your reactions and shift from chaos to choice. Okay. So we recently ran an event and I was there in person. It was very, very overwhelming. There was a lot of moving parts and it was like 30 seconds before the show was about to start. Like 3 minutes before the show was about to start. So I've already cued everybody. Okay, everybody, we're starting in 3 minutes. We had already decided that what the opening cue was. And then somebody came and asked me a question, like questioned what we were doing to open the show and suggested that we make a change at that point. Now, that pissed me off a lot. A lot. Don't you see what is happening around here? Don't you see what is going on right now? I don't have time to answer your shenanigans. I don't have time for your questions right now. The decisions have been made weeks in advance. They are locked. Everyone is queued. Everyone is ready. And I said, I need you to get out of my space right now. Like we are running. This is the way that we're doing it. Like, let's go. And he said, you need to calm down. Guys, don't tell me to calm down when I have a right to be reacting the way that I am reacting. Okay? And I said, you know what? I really should calm down. And I took off my headset and I handed it to him and I said, best of luck. And I walked out. Pause. Is that a fine reaction? Yeah, it was fine. I left. I gathered myself for a few minutes. A friend came out after me. He helped me kind of gather my composure. I went back in. I did what I needed to do and it was fine. How would I have preferred to react in that situation? I would have preferred to say, we already made the decision several weeks ago. It's locked. The way that we're starting this is with the video. Then it's going to cue directly into that. I actually have this right now. And what I need is space to be able to do my job. That's how I would have preferred to react. What was missing? Awareness. What am I feeling in my body right now? Pause. Stop. What is going on? And then you can breathe, acknowledge, and move forward the way that you want to move forward so that you end up showing up more consistently as the version of yourself that you want to show up as. So what happens when we are not aware of ourselves is we get triggered. What happens when we get triggered is we lash out and we are reactive. And when we are reactive, we are not being our best self. When we are not being our best self, we are not making choices that are good for us and we're not moving from power. And so we breathe. This is also a specific call in for the men listening. Emotional awareness is the number one skill necessary of a strong leader. Across the board. Point blank, period. I'm just going to leave that right there. And we're going to move on to limits. Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay, I know what I need. I am clear. I have clarity. I am aware in the moment. I now need to set limits. We set boundaries and we don't feel guilty about them. Neurodivergent folks, and women often overextend themselves. Because we kind of think that if I can do it, I should do it. Like, can means, do I have the capacity to physically do this thing without like dying? And if I do, then great, I'm in good shape. Let me go ahead and do that. And if I don't, then I regretfully have to say no, but probably I'll end up rearranging stuff so that I feel like I can do it. And whether that's from masking or people pleasing or just like you're ambitious or whatever, it's a recipe for burnout. And it's super, super, super unsustainable. With the balanced growth blueprint, it kind of walks you through setting boundaries without feeling guilty. Because the first thing is you have to notice your limit before you hit the wall. And then you have to set boundaries that actually stick. That's really hard. Like it's hard. It's hard to do. And if you struggle with that, I see you. But honestly, every time that I've really struggled with setting boundaries and setting my limits, it's because I disrespected my clarity and awareness. That was like, that actually hurt for me to say to myself. I know what my boundaries need to be. Once you understand what you want for yourself, you know what the limit is. You know what the limit needs to be. And by setting and sustaining that limit, you are being respectful to yourself. And by not sustaining and setting those limits and boundaries, you are disrespecting your clarity and you're disrespecting your awareness. And you're limiting yourself. By not placing limits, by not placing boundaries around yourself, you are limiting yourself. And you deserve to be your best you. And beyond that, actually, I kind of believe that it is your moral responsibility and duty to be your best you. And to hold the people around you accountable for being their best thems. And that's the way that we have a world full of really great people. Part of that is setting boundaries. It makes good business sense. If you are not setting yourself up to constantly be able to produce by protecting your peace and by protecting yourself, then you're not protecting the sustainability of your business. And ultimately, you're going to burn out. If you burn out, then your business fails. And then what? And then how's your family going to eat? So yeah, grab our boundaries blueprint download. It's really, really, really clear way of setting and creating sustainable momentum through boundaries. And then, like I just said, momentum. This is the last bit of our calm. We have clarity, awareness, limits, and then momentum. We want to be achieving that sustainable productivity throughout and from today onwards. This is where strategy meets sustainability. So we're not sprinting anymore until we crash. We are building momentum, meaning consistent action that feels good and is meaningful. That doesn't always mean that it's easy. It just means that it feels good. Hard things can feel good too. The way that we want to think about momentum is tapping into yourself, understanding your energy patterns, right? Energy mapping so that you're working on focus work during your peak focus hours, that you're sleeping during your rest needing hours, that you're incorporating movement when you might need some more like activity or like awakeness happening. Scheduling breaks like their meetings, right? Adhering to those breaks and making sure that you have a plan for that break or knowing what feels good. We want to create productivity that is sustainable, following whatever pattern it needs to follow. And that's the really, really, really cool thing. You can create any pattern that you want to create. You're the pattern creator in your own life, and you can build any kind of system that you want to build as long as you know what creates momentum for you. All of this, again, comes back to clarity, awareness, and limits. Every step of the calm framework refers to the step before it. To create momentum, you need to be clear in what you want. You need to be aware of yourself. You need to know what your limits are. And then you have enough information to create that momentum and to sustain that productivity, to build in the things that work and to build out the things that don't work. Build out? No. Get rid of the things that don't work. So what are your next steps? Well, here we have the Calm Planner for y'all. And you can grab it on avhd.com. Grab all of these resources on avhd.com. And if you are here live, everything will be sent to you. And thank you so much for being here. So your next steps, what are we going to do? First of all, you're going to grab that Calm Planner because it is going to walk you through absolutely everything, all of those 4 steps to being able to ultimately achieve that sustainable momentum that you are seeking. You're going to try the instant calm meditations. They walk you through all of those bits of your day, right? We have 4 or 5 of them that will walk you through your whole day. And you get to listen to my beautiful voice serenading you into calm and into productivity so that you can just reach your peak you. And if you don't like my voice, then re-record them for yourselves and listen to your own beautiful voice. Coming up next month, we have our time webinar. So join our upcoming Redefining Time webinar. I know that we covered a lot today. You're not supposed to master everything at once, so don't stress about it. This is just, it's kind of introducing the concept that this framework even exists. You actually have control over these things. When I was younger and I had very big feelings, unlike now when I don't have big feelings, but when I was younger and I had really big feelings and somebody would tell me to just like control myself, I literally didn't know what that meant. Like, I don't know what you mean. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to control myself. What do you mean control myself? And I would say, like, I can't. I cannot control myself. The things are bigger than I am. And at the time, it was really true because I didn't have the skills that I needed and I didn't have the resources that I needed. So then when my little one came to me and told me that she had feelings that she couldn't control and she felt like she just couldn't control herself, and I was like, you can. You are in charge of this. She's like, no, I'm not. I don't know how to do this. I was able to recognize that that is her asking for skills and resources. And the same exists in you. When you are crying out for something, it's because you need the skills and the resources. So the calm process is here to guide you through that whenever you're ready. Grab all the resources, grab everything that we have for you. We really, really want you to be calm in your life. Unfortunately, we don't have time to take any live questions today, but if you wanted to grab any time with me, I always have a 15-minute coffee chat time available. Come and sit down and talk to me. I especially like when you try and present me with a problem I can't fix. Try and stump me. Bring me something that you really need help with that you just can't figure out. The people around you can't figure it out. You're not really sure where to even start. I want to talk to you. So grab some time and let's get that on the books. Please remember, you are not too much. You are not behind. You are not broken. You just need support that works with your brain and not against it. And that's what we're building here together with Calm. So go ahead, download that Calm Toolkit, follow AVHD for more resources, follow our podcast, the AVHD podcast. Check us out at avhd.com. We have tons of stuff for you and we really want to help. Honestly, you are doing better than you think. Okay. And with just a little bit of extra help, you might be able to do even better. And just in case you were interested and you have something that you feel needs to get out there, and you have something that you need to talk about, and there's you've been holding your voice back, it's time to launch your podcast. Okay. Done is better than perfect. And if you've been waiting for perfect, you're never going to start. So our Launch Your Podcast Kit will give you the exact steps, the tools, the templates to go from the idea to a published show super fast, all on your own, without any expensive equipment or any confusion. So if you are a creator, a coach, an entrepreneur who's ready to start. Okay. You don't need a studio. You just need to start with a system that works. So go ahead and grab that. I'm really proud of this, because if you're here, you have the genius to be able to do whatever you want to do. You just need a roadmap that's going to make sense. So if you need the roadmap for your podcast, this is it. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. I appreciate you so much. Definitely download the Calm Toolkit. If you didn't have a chance to ask your question today, which none of you did, unfortunately, grab some time with me. I would love to speak with you. And until next time, friends, my name is Avi. And stay calm.